Welcome to another video on the Southwest Desert. In today's episode, we'll be exploring the tantalizing tale of the lost Breyfogle mine. The story begins in the early spring of 1863 in southern Nevada. Three prospectors by the names of Breyfogle, O'Banion, and McLeod stopped to rest and replenish their supplies at the Las Vegas Ranch, an oasis of cool springs shaded by towering cottonwood trees. After a few days of recuperation, the trio set off again, this time heading south across the scorching desert sands. Little did they know, only one of them would ever return. Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman, Alan. Please leave a like or comment. For further adventures, hit the subscribe button. Several weeks passed before Breyfogle stumbled back into the Las Vegas Ranch, alone and in dire straits. He was severely dehydrated and suffering from a serious head wound. His skull had been fractured. Clutched tightly in his hands was a red bandana, heavy with the weight of several pounds of rich gold ore. Once his injury had been tended to, and he had been given food and water, Breyfogle recounted an astonishing story. He said that 3 days after leaving the ranch, the prospectors had made camp at a small spring situated high on a mountainside at the end of a narrow box canyon. One day they were approached by 3 Paiute Native Americans who told them of an incredibly rich vein of gold located about 3 miles from their camp. Eager to investigate, Breyfogle accompanied the Paiutes to see this mine for himself and procure some ore samples. However, during the trek back to camp, one of the Paiutes walking behind Breyfogle struck him on the head with a tomahawk, leaving him for dead. Miraculously, Breyfogle regained consciousness during the night. In a daze, he made his way back to the camp, only to find a scene of horror awaiting him. His 2 partners lay murdered, their meager provisions and firearms stolen. Badly injured and now alone, Breyfogle somehow managed to navigate his way back across the unforgiving desert to the Vegas Ranch, a journey that took him 3 arduous days. After taking time to recover from his ordeal, Breyfogle set out once again, this time heading towards Austin, Nevada. There, he organized several search parties to try to relocate the fateful spring and the purported outcropping of rose-colored quartz that promised untold riches. However, the severe head trauma Breyfogle had suffered seemed to have impaired his memory and sense of direction. Try as he might, he was never able to find any place resembling the location shown him by the Paiutes. The legendary Breyfogle mine seemed lost for good. Accounts of this story vary, but most point to the McCullough Mountains just north of present-day Crescent, Nevada, as the most likely site of the lost mine. Many years later, an author named John Mitchell went to the ranch. To his amazement, Mrs. Stewart, the proprietor, presented him with 2 small pieces of the very same gold ore that Breyfogle had left with her all those decades ago. Intrigued, he set out to explore the McCullough Range, focusing his search on the western slopes. High up on the mountainside, he came across what appeared to be an abandoned camp surrounding a small spring. Scattered about were the rusted remains of old cooking utensils, evidencing the site's former occupation. But what he found next sent a thrill of excitement through him. There, above the remnants of a stone fireplace, was a crevice in the rock face, and nestled within that weathered nook was a cache of ore, about 10 pounds total, that perfectly matched the samples Breyfogle had entrusted to Mrs. Stewart. Leading away from the spring and off toward the northeast was the faint trace of an old trail. The path was narrow and faded, but it clearly bore the marks of moccasined feet that had once trod its length. Could this be the very route Breyfogle had traveled with the Paiute guides, the trail that led to the legendary lost mine? He had the ore samples recovered from the old camp tested, and the results were staggering. The assay showed a gold concentration equivalent to $6,780 per ton, an almost unimaginable richness. If the lost vein could be found, it would undoubtedly be one of the greatest strikes in the history of the Old West. Unfortunately, to this day, no one has been able to rediscover the source of Breyfogle's gold. The Breyfogle Ledge, as it came to be known, remains lost somewhere in the rugged hills and canyons of southern Nevada. But despite the many fruitless searches and fading hopes, there are still those who believe. Seasoned prospectors who have spent their lives chasing the dream of striking it rich in the unforgiving Southwest hold fast to the conviction that the old Breyfogle mine is out there somewhere, waiting to be found. The legend of the Breyfogle mine is a testament to the enduring spirit of the Old West, a time and place where fortunes could be made or lost in the blink of an eye, where danger and hardship were the constant companions of those daring enough to chase their dreams across the uncharted frontier. So the next time you find yourself in southern Nevada, take a moment to gaze out across those stark and beautiful desert lands. Let your imagination drift back to a time when brave men ventured into the unknown, following the siren song of gold. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, you'll be the one to finally unravel the mystery of the lost Breyfogle mine. Until next time, leave a like or comment. For further desert romps, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching the Southwest Desert. Happy trails!